Today on the show, we're continuing the Royal Servant recap. So the next chapter opens up with something that I spent about 20 minutes thinking about before I continued reading. Does banana flavored chocolate taste like chocolate or banana? Ryan basically saying he wishes people would mull over trivial things like, does banana flavored chocolate taste like chocolate or banana? Because at the moment in society, people are just trying to grab for money and live for money, and people live to work. They don't live life, and it's not a nice scenario that people are living in. I'm like, I like this character because that's the stuff I think about every day. I think about that stuff so much, and it worries me. It's then revealed that it's actually Ryan that trained Xian in being a hunter. It's actually Ryan that I think founded the Hunters Agency. I think I read that properly. It then goes to Karis fighting a Zero, but one of them uses powers to block his view. But the thing is, Zeros don't have supernatural powers. Once a royal turns into a Zero, they lose that ability. So he goes to Ryan and is like, you're more experienced than everyone else. Explain. It turns out there's this secret organization called Intron that purposely turns royals into Zeros and takes control of them, and they can basically use all of the royal abilities under Intron's command. So they don't have any free will. It's basically turning people into tools. And then Xian bursts in and is like, stop telling Karis what he doesn't need to know. The really, really sweet thing about this is that Karis didn't go to Xian about this because he didn't want Xian to worry. So he went to Ryan. But Xian is now worried because he's gone to Ryan, and it's just, they're a couple that worries about each other. And it's nice to see sort of like people actually loving each other. Like, you don't see that much in Western comics anymore. You see like, oh my god, there is such a drama-filled relationship, and there's always two people that shouldn't be together. And these two should be together, and you can tell they care about each other a lot. So after the mass death of the Severlaws, Intron went into hiding, which is why Intron has been so quiet. But it seems that they've re-emerged recently, and they are directly linked with all the Zero attacks. The reason they think Intron is behind the Severlaws' death is because the Severlaws were trying to come up with a cure for VS solution. Obviously, if you got a cure for VS solution, you've got a cure for Zeros, then you're essentially taking away Intron's mindless army. But then Xian turns around and is like, Karis, don't get involved. And Karis is like, yeah, I won't. And Ryan's like, oh, he's made up his mind to get involved. He's made up his mind to get involved. Look, he's gonna do it. And then Xian is like, don't do it. And then Karis is like, fine, I won't. So Kristoff and Xian are going out to meet with Lezhin. Lezhin and Kion are already at the meeting place. And then there's a Zero attack, and Lezhin has to save Kion from being murdered. And they've created an isolated space that traps Kion and Lezhin here. Like, they can't get out. So there are only two possibilities. One, they're after something, and Kion and Lezhin happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or two, they want to attack Lezhin. Lezhin puts Kion into a room on his own and is like, stay here. And Kion is like, but will you be fine? And Lezhin's like, take this knife, I'm gonna go deal with this. And Kion calls Karis, because Karis said to call him no matter what, and he explains the situation to Karis. Karis is able to go to the building and break into the isolated space to try and save Kion. Kion didn't know it was Karis, so there's like this point where Kion is like, I know hunters use these weapons, will I be able to use it? And then it just turned out to be Karis. And so Karis and Kion go to meet with Lezhin. Lezhin's like, I told you to stay where you were. And Kion is like, I was worried about you. And the scene just moves on. Lezhin deducts that it must be just that he was at the wrong place at the wrong time, because the Zeros there are really, really weak. And if people really wanted him dead, they wouldn't go to the middle of the city where there's an abundance of hunters. Then we have a shot of Ryan at the mansion alone, and there are Zeros gradually beginning to surround it. But Ryan wasn't the target, it was a politician, so Ryan went and saved the politician. Then, at the end of the chapter, just for all the people that didn't figure it out, Ryan explains that the weapon that Kion was given is the only type of weapon that can kill a royal blood, and in turn defend himself from Zeros. Lezhin would have only given that to Kion if he fully and completely trusted him. We then have a flashback to when Xian was a child, and it turns out he wasn't born as a royal blood. And he's in a prison cell, and all these boys are talking about how sometimes royals will pick out kids and then shove a gem into their chest, and that's how they turn into a royal blood themselves. Then Ryan turns up, and basically he's posing like he wants to buy one of these kids as a pet, but really he's trying to shut down this human trafficking operation because it's a fucking disgusting thing. And this is when Ryan and Xian meet for the first time. You see, Xian has been locked up by his wrists and his ankles because he was too troublesome. He even hurt a member of staff. As Ryan leaves, he leaves a knife with Xian and is like, use it. I'm sure you'll know how to use it well. And then he comes back later that day and only the staff have been killed. All the kids were left alive. And Xian has basically just run amok. Ryan is basically questioning Xian and is like, okay, you were able to do this, where are the other kids? I want to shut down this operation. But then Xian gets up and is like, you can turn into a royal blood if you have a core. Turn me into a royal. Like, he's demanding it. Ryan's like, fine, because I like you, I'll do it. But you should know that you don't just drive another person's core into your chest. I have to give you some of my powers, and if you survive, you will develop your own core. 50% of all people that go through this process die. Anyway, shortly after Xian finally develops his core, he meets Lezhin for the first time. So like always, I'm doing a giveaway. So what you have to do to enter the giveaway this week is leave a comment down below letting me know which character from Royal Servant you identify with the most so far. And also don't forget to go to Lezhin, make an account, and subscribe to this channel. And if you do all three of those things, I'll be contacting you if you have won the giveaway, where you'll win some points to spend on comics on Lezhin.
It's super effective!
Okay guys, that is it for today. So what do you think of Royal Servant so far? Please let me know in the comments down below. Also don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe to all of the social links, and I will see you next time. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective.